Welcome to Muse and Metrics. This is your host, Philippa Burgess. This is season 5, episode 14, and today's topic is creative technologist.
I'm Priyal Jain and I'm Women Techmaker's ambassador of Indore, India. Today we are going to say about how to start your career in software development tech as we already discussed. But later on, how do you make leadership skills, how to work in a team, how to use to do creativity in tech. So that is the most important thing in nowadays in professional world, in personal, in each and every sector. Like when I used to do in start my career in software development, we have so many trainings, we have so many of placements, we have so many things to learn like about your skills, like where you want to grow, your domain specific choice, and like if you want to go in web, cloud, ML, so we have to pick up the skills, like which skills we have to go, like what are the things you have to read. There are so many things which you have to learn. Learning is never ends, which I believe. But there is a skills like in web development, we have like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. This is a core main three things which come to grow further for the next year web development. Apart from that, you have another for the ML, AI, TensorFlow, cloud, Firebase. So you have to learn lots of stuff among these things. Now the most important question is how to make leadership not into a professional, into a community, like you are dealing with the people, you are dealing with the team, you conduct the events, you conduct the trainings. So we should always welcome everybody as my community always do. Like we always welcome the people, we always give new opportunities to the people. It's like the public speaking. If I am talking about in front of you, everybody, like it's a virtual, but there is so much things like stage fear. When you go and in front of a crowd, you're a bit hesitate, you're a bit nervous. Everybody has some different perspective to say about. It's all about your comfort, like which word, which phrase you want to say to the people. Just be casually to the people. The first thing is which I can say about, like just like you're talking to your friends. Just way you are talking to the friends, just be casually at your stage. Just not think about that you are on stage, you are in some point. You just in between your own people on crowd. They don't know you, you don't know them, they don't judge you even, because they don't know you even better. So you have a freedom to say anything, which I believe. And apart from the leadership skills, I will say about communication. Like communication is very important. Like me and Philippa is also communicating with here, and you also communicating with us over the comments, over any questions, anything. So communication is very important, transparency is very important, because before making perceptions, because there is a human tendency, we used to make judgments, we used to make perceptions about people, we used to think like we should give this opportunity to this person or not. We have always these questions into our head. So just take a risk, and you know that you can do better day by day.
Women Techmakers is a global community, and you are representing a global community, and you guys have a lot going on in India, just like we have our North American group, and there's ambassadors in Europe and Africa and Australia, just around the world. And I'm having more and more opportunities to speak to all of you, which is absolutely amazing to me. And so you're in Indore, India, and you have a local GDG group, and you're actually very involved in leading and being involved in that, having started as a volunteer and then getting invited into the Women Techmaker ambassadors community. So let's start with, how long have you been an ambassador? I know your volunteer work and your involvement in the industry predates that, but when did you actually get started as an ambassador?
Oh, that's a nice question. Like this question has been asked so many people by many times. Whenever I meet new people into the community or any industry, like how long you have been in the ambassador, how long you have started the community, like what makes you inspire to do this particular thing, what makes you interest for that. So let me tell you about this. I became ambassador in the year of 2020, since I have been 3 years of becoming WTM ambassador and associated with GDG groups. And I've started the volunteering into the my website, like because it's my core thing. And after that, I learned and grow so many things. When I started, I I don't have so much experience. I didn't have any experience. I just have my leadership skills, but I didn't have any such experience later on, like what to do, how events is planned, like what is a prerequisite to do anything. Like I just grown up to see the people like how they are doing, and I just follow the same, and just by mistakes and all the failures up and down, I just come here at front with the people. But the most amazing thing of mine is like I never give up with the things. I always challenge people, and I always try to do the people. I always challenge people like, yes, you are saying no, now I have to do it again and again, whether it's everything is fair for that. So I always do. I always take new challenges. I always challenge people. I always to do the new hard task, which makes me challenging. And uh, and it's all about your comfort and your interest as well. Like my interest sticks to my all the community things. I love to meet new people. It is my nature. So I love networking with the people, so that makes my interest with the community is linked with.
That's wonderful. And I would imagine, because what I've seen, I've only been in the program now just coming up on a year, and the amount of growth that I've had, the amount of community building, the amount of feeling that I not only belong, but then I can contribute. And that now that I'm contributing, people are coming back to me to share new opportunities and collaborations. And it's an amazing place for having that growth mindset and having that community mindset that you obviously have. So I can only imagine that year after year between 2020 to today, you've had quite a bit of opportunity to network, to lead, and to grow, both personally and also professionally,
Yes.
and in your technical skills and abilities as well.
Yes. So I've been grown a lot into as my daily aspects, like whether it's any challenging of any skills, like public speaking, and whether it's communication, whether it's anything. So I've been grown a lot day by day, and I just keep learning and just keep communicate with the people, keep trying to do the things. I never thought like what will be the output of that, but I just want to try and I just try it. That's all my the thing which is the best inspires me to do that. So let me ask you one question as well, like what makes you inspire to build and grow into the community, as I said about my leadership, communication, and many more. But what is the main thing that you think about, like what makes you inspire?
Probably for me, it's having been community less. And I think I made very conscious decisions in my career. In certain ways, when I started working in the entertainment industry, I was in Los Angeles, which is the place that is the entertainment industry. And I had gone to school in Los Angeles, got my undergraduate bachelor's there, and then I stayed in Los Angeles. And I had a community. I had a community that was from my college. I had a community that was from my first agency jobs. I had just a very social, and my whole life was a very interconnected with a very tight and yet expansive group of young professionals in the entertainment industry. And so we ran in packs. We all knew each other. The people we knew each other. I was in the entertainment industry, and the entertainment industry has different pockets, different sides. I was in motion picture, feature lit, so screenplays, books to film, film and television, and that world. And when I left in 2012, I wanted to put that chapter behind me. I'm still friends with those people, but that was no longer my main focus, and I was ready to start something new. And what I've realized more recently is that it broke into chapters. So the first chapter was that my world and my work was being a container for other creatives and artists. I was the administrator for creatives. And when I moved to Colorado, I wanted to be the creative. But in my role there, I wore a costume that was other people's brands for companies, for executives. So I was invisible in my creative work. So I was getting to be creative, but I just played the voice of the brand, of the company, of the product, and created. We did websites, we did social media campaigns, we did blogs, we did PR, we did events, we did award submissions. So I was in a creative space with a lot of companies, startups, small businesses, But as I was there, very quickly, the wave that was the cannabis industry, the CBD industry in the United States, in Colorado, when they legalized marijuana, that's what my world became, because I was in Denver right when it was legalized, right when all those new companies were popping up everywhere, and they all needed branding, and they all needed communications, and they all needed compliance. And it was a interesting, exciting place to be at that time. I didn't choose it. It chose me, because I was sort of standing there, and that was the space that I was in. I was physically in Denver, Colorado. I was in a communications role. And then in the pandemic, I left Colorado and I moved back east and returned to where I grew up on the East Coast. And with that, I wanted something new and different. And because of the United States rules about marijuana, cannabis, CBD, it's very state by state. So different places have different rules. And I really had no interest in getting involved with it in another state. I just decided that my time there was done. It was now had gone from being a brand new industry to being something that was more mature. And I stopped growing, and I just didn't see a future opportunity. And so I decided it was absolutely time for me to sunset that and start over. But I started feeling that I had no community. I didn't know what industry I belonged in. I didn't know who I belonged to, because those industries are very social and very connected, and people help each other.
Yes.
And then I went back to school. School is a very safe space. I went back to the same school I did my undergraduate, although now I was in an online program that I could travel between Colorado, the East Coast, and back to California, where my mom is. And so online school also let me have kind of locationally, I could be wherever I wanted to be. And I loved my school community, but at the same time was still feeling like that's not an industry. And I studied urban planning, which I loved, but I found that some of the financialization of property, and it was coming at a cost to human values and the environment and society, communities, all sorts of things that I wasn't interested in serving that community to help them make more money and do it at a cost to society and in the environment. I was like, that's not who I am. And this is not my people, my tribe, in a way that that's where I want to exist. And so I felt like I didn't know where I belonged. And coming out of urban planning, the part I fell in love with was data science, data visualization, GIS, digital twins, all of this stuff that I knew very little about. I just sort of saw a little bit, and I said, oh, I want to go in that direction. And so
Yes.
I talked to some people who were GIS professionals, and I said, can I kind of learn this on my own, or should I go through an academic program? And they suggested, they're like, you'll do much better going through an academic program. There's a lot to learn, and it's helpful if it's given to you in a structured environment and you have peers and so that made sense to me. And there's a 1-year certificate program that I signed up for, and I'd applied to it. I'd gotten in over the summer, and I finished my master's in August, and then I started that program in September, and immediately I was scanning for opportunities, because now I was in a technology certificate, and I was seeing that I could claim my identity as a woman in tech, as a woman in STEM, which, having this creative background, even though in the early days I was writing HTML code, and I've always been very much an early adopter to tech, and I love technology, I never identified as a woman in tech. And so when I saw the application pop up for this, I was like, yes, this is exactly the identity I want. This is the community I want. We similarly had another opportunity for a scholarship in the intelligence community, and I applied for that and got that. And then I was being mentored in the intelligence community. I haven't put as much time and energy into that community as I would like, but I feel like I'll do better coming into that community with these tech skills, with this knowledge of AI and ML, because that's what that community is talking about now. And I think I'll be even more welcome into that community if I can say, hey, let's talk AI ML. Hey, let's talk about these things that are evolving within the intelligence community. And now, after that 1 year, or within that 1 year program, I knew there was a lot more learning I wanted to do, and I wanted to find practical applications for it. And I now see my place in urban planning. My place in urban planning is about community, is about the environment, is about climate impact. And so now I'm studying human security and geospatial intelligence.
There is a most amazing story you tell about like your country to switching, like you mentored so much things. Like that's just very, very inspiring to hear about, like about your views about the tech and inspiring and then lots of stuff.
One of the things that I was telling you, the first thing where I used to be the container for other creatives, and then I kind of wore the costume. Now I'm seeing my third role, because the thing for me, like I said, when I found Women Tech Makers, I had no community, and this became my community. This became a what I had before in different industries. Now I was starting to feel like I belong. I belong to an industry. Now there's other industries and communities that I want to get into as well, but my goal then is to act as a connector. How do I connect them back to this community? And how can these communities help each other? But what I'm seeing now is that my new goal is where I've had this creative journey all along, and I've been creative. Now, for the very first time, I'm owning my identity in front of the mic and in front of the camera, because I never in my creative history got in front of the camera. I always told other people's stories quietly and behind the scenes, and or
Okay,
did
so
administrative. So
yes.
that's where I'm coming out now. I'm ready to share my platform, share my stage, bring other people with me in expanding our ability to communicate, share messages, amplify and tell important stories, inspire other people. And I really saw it at a conference that I went to this summer, which is called Esri UC. So the Esri User Conference. Esri is a big kind of mapping software that we learn in school to create data visualizations in using mapping tools. And I was at this conference and I spent 2 days asking one question, which is, where does Esri and Google connect? Because Google is a behemoth in the spatial space. You've got Google Earth, you've got Google Earth Engine, you've got Google Maps. Just Google does a lot in the geospatial space, but they're competitors with Esri. And I, in again, community and being inspired by other people, learned about GDE and decided I wanted to be a GDE. And I was like, well, what do I be a GDE in? And I just decided it's going to be geospatial. But now it's like, okay, I need to get proficient at Google Earth Engine, understanding uh, Google Earth, understanding Google Maps and their APIs, their new immersive experience. And but I also realized that where I really want to expand my expertise is in databases, because databases is the one place where Google and Esri really connect, because you can prepare the data and ask the data questions and get it all ready to analyze and visualize. And whether you do that with ArcGIS Pro or whether you do that with Google Earth Engine, different companies are going to have different preferences and different needs as to which software they're going to choose. And I want to be the ambassador who can speak well of Google products. And so I want to speak for BigQuery GIS. I want to speak to Firebase. I want to speak to, so that's what
Yes.
I'm realizing, that that's where I want to be, so that I can, when it comes to the actual mapping software, I can say, oh, you can use Esri or you can use Google. When I was at that conference, I was the only person I've perceived out of tens of thousands of people where I was working so hard to learn what they have and what they do. And you realize that there
Yes.
wasn't anyone there who identified as a podcaster, a blogger, or a YouTuber. And that
Yes.
really inspired me to say, you know what? I got to up level my podcast. I got to really
So
motivate
yes.
for YouTube.
So talking about your inspiration and you're about to become a GD, so let me tell you my example as well. When I entered into a community, I just applied to the GDE program with my regional manager, and my regional manager laughed and she said, like, Priyal, you didn't have any sessions into that web or something. How do you become GD? You have applied to the GD directly. So, like she said about, like, let me tell you prerequisite about that. You have to conduct the so much sessions related to web. You are already a public speaker, so that is not an issue, but you do have something to showcase to the team, to the Google team, so that they will consider you to become the GD for that. So after I was preparing for that, like after that I just came to know about we have to conduct the sessions, we have to be expert in that particular role of that Google product. So I am already a web developer and I have worked on Google technologies such like Angular. Angular is the most widely used for the Google technology. So that makes me more inspired. But it's not about only Angular have to become GD. GD have become for web as well. But that was very initial time. I didn't aware about such things. Like we have to do blog, we have to conduct the sessions, we have to be a public speaker, we have to explain each and every concept very gracefully. There is so much steps. Yeah, I wanted to, but there would be the right time. I've just apply again and head to the people like, yes, I want to apply again for that same. As you tell you about your inspiring story about this stuff, let me tell you about, I am having also one story related to public speaking, stage fear for that. When I started in community, there used to be a COVID times for the same. So I just participated and I just take the opportunities of so many events. When used to do for that public speaking part, I just take the pros for that hosting, networking. I used to take this opportunities to interact with my lead or something like. I just want to take that. This is would be my challenging for the speaking part and this confidence building. Any you have heard about Women Developers Academy? Human Developers Academy program is only about your to improve your public speaking skills, your confidence, your build and grow skills. This program will be held in each and every year to conduct in each and every country, like for the India, for the US, for the North America, for each and every aspect. So Women Developer Academy provides you to how to you have assigned to the one mentor there, and you will improve your public speaking, your presentation skills, your training skill, your confidence building skills, how to empower women, how to bring transparency, how to communicate with the people very gracefully. There is so much intact into Women Tech Makers program. Women Tech Makers always give me the numerous opportunities where it's not about only Women Developers Academy, where it is all about any of that, not only any of that public speaking skills. You have organization skills, you have the management skills, you are empowering women in tech. People always say that you have to empower women, you have to empower women. Like we have to support other women, we cherish other women. Like as I'm saying about Philippa is very inspiring. She is doing so much amazing work like Muse and Metrics season 5. And she's doing podcast and inviting all the women allies out there to encourage them to public to speak well. So there are lots of power to Philippa that she's providing so much thing to the woman, and she's giving so much opportunities to speak and to nurture and glow and to showcase about your skills. They're the most important thing which we want is only for platform. Like we need one platform to showcase our talent, to tell about our own story. If we talk about to tell our own story, Women Techmakers also provide one workshop, like tell your own story workshop. If you not attended, I would suggest you to please attend that gracefully. Into that
Which is it
story,
called?
we
What is it called?
yes,
Tell your story workshop?
yeah, tell your story workshop already conducted in by the global team, regional lead like Kathleen had organized to tell your story workshop. I have attended that twice, not in once. I have attended twice actually. And we have certain breakout rooms. Each and every woman will tell about their own story in leadership, in creativity, in tech, in software development, how she has become their career and own career in lead. So this will become more confidence. Like when we talk our story to the other people, this makes inspiring. When we give advice to the people, when we are nurturing to the people, there is lots of stuff by have Women Techmakers program. It's not only about leadership and each and every sector which are talking about. If we have talked about I am remarkable is also initiative, tell your story, reframing your narrative, Women Developers Academy. This four initiative I already talked about by Tech Makers. And after that, there is always our hub, like where we used to interact with other women in the global calls. And apart from the global calls, there is so much programs which Women Tech Makers sessions conducted, like resume CV, like after that. Any empowering women sessions such like networking sessions, like how to build your leadership skills, how to grow yourself much better. Like there is always people question about themselves about leadership, creativity in tech, like such like imposter syndrome, like am I doing right, am I doing wrong, like why you are questioning about yourself again and again. Just do it. If it is wrong, it's fine. It's right, it also fine. Like people used to make mistakes and people allowed to make mistake, which I believe. There is no such question about the people like why you are making mistakes. Everybody is learning with by their own mistakes. So I'm just questioning to all the women, all the people out there, if you are doing mistake, that is also fine, because mistake is not about like you're repeating again and again. You're learning from it, and the next time you never do that. Like if we are speaking, if we say some word or phrase wrong, so we know well what we are saying, but next time we know that we know not have to repeat it again. So that is what we are learning from it, which I believe. Me and other things, like if I am editing something, if I am doing some podcast, if Philippa is doing podcast, she knows like where I have to start, where I have to stop, like where I have to come out for that. So this is all about your learning phase, your learning part. You're doing initiatives. When you start taking initiatives, you came to know about like what I have to do to make it better, to make it more better for that. So when you started doing the things, when you came to know. So I just always have this question to the people, like why you do you judge yourself? Like it's fine, people tell you about like this is wrong, this is right. You know what is right or wrong. This is your life, this is your choice. If it is your choice, most importantly, I am very like in my community programs, there is so much, there is a lots of opportunity for hosting, networking, and so on. I usually take networking part, because I think my engagement is very much better than my hosting. It's not about I am questioning about my hosting part. Like I don't know about how to host. I hosted so many events and many community days, and I love to being public speak there. But I know better how to engage with people. There is two different things of hosting and engaging with people. Hosting is completely different and engaging with people is completely different. So I always tell to people that do not relate the same. Hosting is all about like when you are calling out the people, when you are conduct hosting the event, like you call out the speakers and you praise them at the stage or something. Engaging with the people is something like you are interacting with the people, you are interacting with people with certain activity, which I am very good at, as most of the people praise me for that. My engagement is very very good for that. I engage with people very very nicely, where which is my skill, which we can say about. So after hosting my first IWD program with leading with the Lakshya, she also appreciated me like you are very good in networking and engaging with the people. I would suggest you to go with that particular part. This is also part of speaking field. This is not about like you have to do only hosting for each and every event. This is no such rule over there. It's all about where you are comfortable. You speak with some engaging with people or some vertical. There is every each and every vertical to the speaker. Some people want to be a professional speaker only. Some people want to only networking and engaging with the people to speak about that. The speaking has always been a separate other parts way. Like Philippa is also host to the people. You people Philippa wants to know with the people about their own story. So there is several things like which we can inspire to speak about that. So and the moral I will say about speaking can be of different ways. It's not about like high and low. There is always each and every vertical about speaking where you
Well,
coordinate with the something.
you
Yes.
talk about so many things in there. For example, let's start with I am remarkable. I again things
Yes.
I've heard about in and learned about through speaking with fellow Women Techmaker ambassadors. And I looked it up. I found a session that's coming up, I think in 2 weeks. So I'm
I
registered for
would
it.
like to host to I am remarkable, because I am also I am remarkable facilitator. We both will discuss and we will do together. No issues into that.
Excellent. So, okay, so I'm taking the course and then I'm sure I'll be given the information to facilitate and do it. So that's on my list. I applied for the Women Developers Academy and I was honestly really nervous about whether I would be accepted or not, and then I was accepted. So I'm very happy that as of Monday I start in the Google Developers Academy, and that feels so good for me because I'm really wanting to move towards GDE. I know I have a lot of work and a lot of learning of things I need to learn to move in that direction, but I'm really pleased to be part of that program. I think I will also have an opportunity to improve my own confidence, my own public speaking, and I'm looking forward to that. And then you talked about another program I was not familiar with, that I'm just hearing for the first time, which
Reframing
is,
your narrative.
yes, and the storytelling one. So I guess two that I'm hearing for the first time.
Storytelling, reframing your narrative. This too will come again and again, because in every year, like Kathleen used to do this stuff. Kathleen is our regional, like woman tech makers global
Yep.
ambassador. If you don't know about Kathleen, you can read at our womentechmakers.com page.
Yeah, she's great.
And
And
apart from that, yes,
yeah, so I think so those are really great, because I do think that this program is empowering and encouraging people to step out on stage and be better thought leaders. One tip that I was thinking about when you were talking about public speaking and just having courage is, my experience with it is that your audience will have as much fun as you are. If you're enjoying yourself, you give your audience permission to enjoy themselves. If you're
yes,
nervous, you make your audience nervous. And if you're uncomfortable, you make your audience uncomfortable. They are a mirror. And it can be a scary mirror, because you're like, if your goal is, I don't want to make my audience uncomfortable and I'm uncomfortable, it's hard. You have to step right out with joy, confidence, a smile, and then immediately your audience is going to capture that and mirror that back to you. And so, yeah, if anything, just leading with a smile and leading with loving your audience, respecting your audience, wanting to bring joy to your audience. And so when you radiate that joy, they capture and amplify that joy.
yes, I totally agree with you. And there is one use case as well. Like when we used to do the speaking, like there is a certain type of audience. Like when we are very comfortable, but audience is not like as much speaking to we are. So how to approach people to speak? There is a one question like each and every people have. Like some people got nervous if audience is not answering. Why you getting nervous? You should speak again and again. After repeating again and again, audience will say something in a bit. If they are not saying something, it's okay. If it is not about that they don't like your thing and they don't like anything. If they don't like anything, they will tell you explicitly. If they are liking something, sometimes people are hesitate to tell about like if there is liking or not liking. So it is fine. If you are saying something, if you are speaking something, if audience is not responding and some other person is not responding to you, I just suggest you to please not you to stop what you are saying. You should complete your sentences no matter what is our audience is responding or not. I just to tell you to do your best, because you have the good content, audience will definitely respond in some time. No matter what.
And the
Only the
other
content is matter. Yeah.
study that was done about, it was a question of about do women support women in the workplace, and actually somebody got their PhD in this study. And what they were finding is, because this study was done in sort of the 80s, there were a lot of women who were at the bottom of corporations and men were at the top.
Yes.
And what it was is that they found that there were cultures that women were very mean to each other and very backstabbing and not supportive of each other at all. But what they found is that actually it had nothing to do with gender. What it had to do with was self-esteem. If someone has high self-esteem, they feel good about themselves, they have confidence, and they want other people to feel good about themselves. And they want to support other people in having that confidence as well. And if they go to a talk or a lecture, they're rooting for that speaker to win. They're looking for value that they get from that speaker. And in an assessment, they're going to be very complimentary to the speaker, wish them well, have a nice day. And there's nothing, there's sort of, it's impersonal. Someone with low self-esteem is more likely to attack and say, well, I didn't like this, and I'm going to complain about this, and I didn't get value from that. And so a lot of the response of how an audience is nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with how they perceive themselves, how much esteem they have or do not have. And when you're interacting with people with high levels of self-esteem, you'll find them to be very supportive, very collaborative, very much cheerleading you and getting on with their own life. Whereas when you deal with people who have low self-esteem, if they feel stuck in that position, and they don't recognize that that's what's causing the problem. And a lot of times they're surrounded by a lot of other people who are like them because they're not getting ahead in the world, and they're sort of pushed down to the bottom of organizations. Those are the people who will go out of their way to make it that if they're having a bad day, you're going to have a bad day too.
So yeah, you are talking about like women supporting women. So into our community, we have one or more ambassadors into our community, if we can say about. So when I used to do this such kind of initiatives, so what I used to do that, like we don't like ask each other like we want to do or not, like this person would feel bad or not, like this is my personal initiative to take each and everything. So we always support each other, like yeah, Priyal is doing something for this public speaking and everything, so yeah, she can carry on with the things, maybe she's improving herself in their own journey. So we don't always interrupt with each other this kind of initiatives, always like we don't always interrupt with this kind of things. If somebody is doing something, we should always appreciate in the team, like yeah, you are doing something and that is fine, like you have bandwidth, you are managing your time, and you are doing public speaking and anything, like if it is your choice and it's go, please go ahead. Like nowadays we are talking about like women, other supporting women, this is very rare. Like yeah, I'm just talking about comfortability, like if you're comfortable with other women's allies with your community, that is definitely like women supporting other women. Like the second option is, if you're not comfortable with other women which you are leading at, so there is high chances of women do not support to each other, because when we don't have any comfortness with some other people, we don't have understanding as well to each other. So if we don't have any understanding with each other, how do we get to know about that person, like how this person can be good at this skills or not skills? So I personally prefer to try to understand to people, like whether it's I'm being very transparent to the people, where it's good or bad. If I'm feeling some bad at the person time, I will say to the people frontly, straightly, which is my I'm think I'm good at, and I don't feel bad at those, because feelings to tell separate straightly, which is good to tell the people at the back, which I do not prefer. Mostly, I do not prefer. I tell to the people at very, very strictly, because that person has got to the chance to improve themselves better, which I think at. It's not about I'm telling people for their mistakes or something. It's all about we are making our bonding more better, to making things more clear, to making things more transparent between us, to make more communicate vibrantly. I personally tell to the people always, like if you don't like such things, such anything, like why Priyal do this, why Priyal do that, just come to me, tell to me, we will speak, we will communicate about the things. Maybe I do the things at very other intention, maybe you are thinking at other intention. Both our intentions are very, very different, which I can say about. Our perspectives are different. Maybe I am doing certain things and very different intention, and you are thinking in different ways. So maybe I can align you better, like what are you thinking and what I am thinking. Perceptions is very, very important. We have so much different perceptions of doing the things. My purpose of doing this kind of engagement is all about my improvement and my public speaking. Sometimes I say fastly, sometimes I say slowly. It's all about your excitement, it's all about your enthusiasm, which I can say about. It's all about your energy level. Like in speaking, your energy level is very, very much important. How you're energized with the people, your energy, your voice, your enthusiasm, like how you bring to the table, to the things. It's not about like okay. So like at the end, I would like to say about, I want to like to thank to Philippa, who gave me this opportunity to say about software development, leadership, creativity, and speaking skills, and all such general discussions we'll talk about Women Techmakers program, about how to speak well, and there are lots of things.
Things I took away from what you were saying before is just having that joy when you're on stage, and having that confidence, and that growth mindset, and that spirit of collaboration, and that you're there to serve, you're there to inspire, you're there to encourage, you're there to inform. And when you're there with that spirit of service, and you're bringing this authentic joy and confidence, is a great way to kind of be in the world. and you're a lot more able to just move through and do what you do regardless of how where other people are at. It's as long as you're coming with your joy, your authenticity, you're bringing that spirit, that sense of collaboration, good opportunities are going to be attracted to you. People will have a good experience from that session, and that sounds like just a great way to be in the world.
Like as you talk about, we have said about like your journey, your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and apart many more. So after that, I would like to end this thing like, yeah, just keep growing, keep doing, keep learning, and this things will never end. So that's all my moral is. As I am till now for this journey, and I also keep trying for the new things, new opportunities in the upcoming events, upcoming things, about new challenges, new speaking opportunities, new things of doing the things. So there is so much things to do at your end, at my end. So we always keep interactive. Just do not forget to keep interactive always. If you do not keep interactive, then you just only listening to the things, then you don't have fun with what you are doing, what you are thinking. So you always do interaction with the people. You just also came to know about the things much better in the clear way. So I always prefer to do that, and I'm just keep suggesting you to do the same.
Just dig deeper into your work as a web developer. Let's just talk about your background, how you got into web development, why at this time web is your favorite part of the tech ecosystem, and yeah, just talk about your work and your interest in web.
So my work, my interest goes to web is something started my like after my college. I'm a very creative person. Like I just used to I was a painter as well into my school. I got the best artist award into my school, and I was a painter. And after that, I can go with the UX as well. But being a software developer, I just want to go that when I see the websites like Google.com and Facebook.com, that time Facebook was very very popular. Today as well, but there is lots of website coming around with the competition after that, Meta, Instagram, and lots of stuff. So I just used to see that how this website made, how this HTML and CSS work, how this box is displaying over the browser. I just curious about to know the things. So that curious about my interest, and I going into the web. And I started the journey with the internship. I learned like basics of like what is the roadmap of web development, like what you have to learn. Like just remember, I just only remember one thing: when you have to go start with something, you have to remember that what are the steps, initial steps, what you have to learn to go to the first step. Like for starting the web development, you must learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Like what are the prerequisite of the things. Like I have gained the skills of that HTML, CSS, JavaScript, still learning, because this has no end. JavaScript is very very vast, and JavaScript has no end. Every day is this come with the new features and new technologies. You have to keep learning and keep updating yourself daily, which I believe, because technology has no end. As you talked about chat GPT, AI, cloud, these are updating daily, emerging new technologies. So we have to keep updated, focused daily due to new technology trends and so on. Apart from that,
And
yes.
where do you go and how do you learn? Are you learning by doing? You were learning through just reading the news about it? Are you learning through community? Like what are your learning
Oh,
resources? Do you take supplementary
so
courses, books? What's the books are hard because they outdate pretty quickly. Though there's still ample uh, books written about all technology, so they're still a valuable resource.
I prefer the approach practically, because theoretically never always read into the mind, but practically always remember that what you are doing. So after doing the things, I learned day by day, like what you have to do. Just I just keep googling and just do like how to make box. So practical implementation I always did, and I just learned by the practicality. I've started community after learning that basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. After getting a job, I get into the community. So I must say, before community, I started learning with the web, but after community, I got so many opportunities into web development and learning path with the mentorship of a Google developer experts. And I worked with them. I learned with them like how to do, what are the best practices, what are the best approaches. I learned and gained the experience. So that gave me the good opportunities, which I believe.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so okay. So now, given that we are grounded in your experience and your interest, how did Google I/O add to that? To add to that base of knowledge, and you said it's obviously continuing to learn. What were some
Yeah.
of your things that you were most interested in, and some of your big takeaways?
So, like, I don't know about everybody, but according to me, it was, as I said, it was my first event. So, due to my first event, uh, tech was not, honestly, tech was not that much I've connected with the Google I/O. I just had the word like Google I/O Connect, Google I/O Connect, and I just go with the real. I just know that yeah, there will be lots of networking and so many activities which I came around with. I just go with that mind of version. But yeah, tech is important role into our as a professional life. There would be the tech in Google I/O Connect as well. But my main motive was not the tech, to meet people, to interact and gain the experience of that event. That was my main motive.
I recently attended a event in a different industry because I study geospatial. So I'm
Yes.
looking at things that are about the place where is our data science in on a map or on our globe. And there's a group that's called Esri that does a lot of the software for the science of where. And I had gone to my first conference with them, and I wasn't that interested in the sessions. I was interested in the expo floor. I was interested in talking to people and asking questions and learning about their experience and the technologies that they were promoting or the services or their business. And it was just the opportunity to talk to people was so informative for me. And also I felt that the more conversations I had, the more I got a window into, I want to say, my own soul in relationship to this work. Because did you find yourself in any way saying the same thing to people as you introduced yourself because you talked to so many people, and
Yes.
realizing that you're like, oh yeah, that is true about myself. I never saw it that way before, but now that I've had to explain it again and
Agree.
again and again, I see new perspectives of the work I do, how I got here, what I offer, what I'm learning. I don't know. There was something about talking to that many people that quickly that you find, I don't know, I found new insights for myself.
Agree. That is so inspiring. You talked about your like in day to day about your tech role and many things. That is so inspiring to me. So very appreciating. So my takeaways as a tech professional or general public, as I talked about, for the main purposes for networking, and I enjoyed about like demo things, meet new people, Googlers, and take their mentorship, like how I do better in web, like what are the main challenges, best practices in Angular or some frameworks. So some people tell about their experience of doing in web role, like you can do this thing, you can do this better, like just go to the Google IO Google IO Connect websites and just see that there would be so much web agendas topic there. So you will get to know something. I made with the speakers as well, which was come to from the abroad. So they have so a lot of experience of in web accessibility, like how you can improve the performance. Like performance is really matters, like you're increasing the application faster. So that is so much you have to learn, like how you can learn this thing, best practices. So that I came to know to talk to the people. As I talked about my role in tech, as in I'm a web developer, and here with connected with that, I've just give my role in tech to the speakers. So we get to know each other, and they told me about how you can improve as your role, and how can improve you, how you have to learn a lot into your web, because it is also updated day by day. And if we talk about AI, like people used to do chat GPT or some other AI tools they have used to explore about the web or any certain technologies. People used to analyze about the chat GPT, AI, machine learning, TensorFlow, cloud. People are used to doing in cloud certifications. So keep updated, and having a knowledge is not any having issue. Being a web developer is not about like I have certain restricted to only web development, but on all having a knowledge, it is a good thing, which I believe, because you must know each and everything that will come in any way. And after that, my here with the Google I/O, how my experience as a WTM ambassador is very very amazing. Because I attended the women specific events, and increased. I've seen that there was a huge number of diversity, and people are very very empowering encouragement. So there are lots of women who inspired us with their role models or many more. And apart from that, like if we talk about to conductors of Google I/O events, like in our we have 4 to 5 ambassadors. Nowadays WTM is conducted independently, which we can say today, because WTM is not about only dependent on GDG, TFUG or any Google community. Nowadays WTM is having its own, like they can be WTM ambassador according to his their own profile. They're having own like which they can be inspiring. So people are nowadays becoming women techmakers ambassador without having any community centric. So that is very appreciating. That is a very good thing that many women are becoming ambassador and empowering other women as well, which I believe. So the way we have supported something, like I believe in very communication and transparency. So I just want to tell about one more thing, that are like if we are both we are on in same task, like we have to coordinate, we have to communicate. The main thing is really matters, because we have to keep the good bond, because with the good bond things will go great, which I believe. Only work relations doesn't matter, it doesn't work out, which I believe. We have to make the good personal bond as well, because it will help us to uh, make the good work as well with the team. If we are only like a professional wise and we don't talk even after that, because we then after that we don't know each other, we don't understand each other, like how we can coordinate and contribute with each other, how we can support each other without knowing the things, I believe. And in into my community, and other and we have a 4 girls. So we have one entrepreneur as well. We have 2 entrepreneurs as a WTM ambassador who inspired us with a lots of stuff, and we used to learn with them as well. I believe that we always have to take suggestions, feedback with everybody, so that we also have to know about the things. And I usually prefer that approach. I usually coordinate and resolve the conflicts with the people, try to resolve the conflict with the people, because I love being transparent. And it is not about explaining or something. Like, I believe that if we going with the things to be very straight and clear, that would be very nice to do the work, and that will not create any misunderstandings, which I believe. And instead of tag or in anything, as a WTM ambassador, we have to be very straight and clear. We, as a woman and techmakers ambassador, we don't have to be very, very compare or like competition or something, because we all have to work together. It is not only about an Indore ambassadors, it's all about all India ambassadors have to support and work with each other. So that we are doing, we have a calls, and we usually brainstorm our ideas, like how we can do better. If somebody has something, a good story to inspire, then we will usually highlight them on our social channels or anywhere to make a praise or to appreciate her, because appreciation is very important, which we believe in.
So my next question to you is let's kind of shift the conversation a little bit, because we're speaking as fellow tech makers, ambassadors to each other. We're speaking about women in tech, but also let's talk a little bit about consumers. Our listeners at this point could be in any field, in any application, but every single one of us every day touches and interfaces with websites. So it's a two-part question. One is just for all of us who engage in web, what are we looking for? You mentioned this idea of speed, and just that the load time is quick, and it obviously it does what you want it to do. So as a user experience, what advice do you have that what should users be paying attention to, or what don't they see that you're thinking really hard about to make sure that their experience is a good one? And
We talk about any website, like ideas, suggestions, we are brainstorming on ideas, like what we have to do with the feature, like due to the very product understanding, like what you have to do, where you have to keep that, like there is a two icons, that very two icons work for your heading should be very very proper, your title, your color combinations, and your theme is very important, which I can say look and feel of the website, your security, your login authentications, and your accessibility, which your accessibility is very, very important. So yeah, Philippa, that I agree to your all of your concerns and your questions.
yeah, no, it's important, I think, to see that your role, as I see it, is you're a key member of both the marketing department, because everything that you're thinking about is thinking about marketing. How do we present ourselves and have a positive user experience? You're also part of operations, because everything has to work, everything has to be secure, everything has to be functional. And you're part of RevOps, because if all of this falls apart, the company is going to lose money. And obviously there's an investment that's made in web, but there's a reason for it, because it secures money, it generates money, and it's an important part of operations for a company. And it's something that needs to be taken seriously, and that the people that you work with can align with your team, with their vision and understanding of marketing, and then how you guys can collaborate together, expand each other's knowledge, and ultimately end up with a product that you're proud of.
That is so agree. Like your takeaways, your role, and your take domain is very, very important role play in your tech. Yeah, if you want to learn about how to start your roadmap with the web development, you can just go to the Google and you just learn about HTML, CSS, JavaScript basics at your Google tutorials, W3 schools, and many more Udemy tutorials. And you can create your first own website. Your portfolio is very important as you are in web, in tech, or in any technology. Your portfolio, your showcase, your products and technologies is very very important role. So just keep mind that.
You and I both definitely intersect at that. We are creatives, and we are technologists.
It can be anything, but so if you can do, you can start your own journey, that would be so inspiring. Thank you so much, Philippa, for giving me this opportunity. Hope
Excellent. Well, I thank you so much for joining us today. And this has been great, and love hearing from you, and love that you have become part of my community and one of my regular speakers now, given that this is our third opportunity. So people can hear more about what you have to say in the International Women's Day Dare to Be video that's on the Muse and Metrics channel, and also in the Google I/O Extended, as you participated in Google I/O and shared your experience there as an attendee. And that is intercut with actual talks from the keynote and the sessions from I/O Connect in Mountain View. And now here on Muse and Metrics Season 5, as part of our lineup of speakers that is become global. I am so excited that I have guests from South Asia and from Africa and from Europe and from Australia. So I have a wonderful international guest list on this season, as well as those in North America.